first down. They hand off to Marlon Mack. Huge hole, 50-yard line. He's at the 40, still going near sideline. He's at the 10. He's at the 5, and he will score. Touchdown, Marlon Mack. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. Leonard with his second INT, and he's streaking down the near sideline. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's going to go. A pick six for the Maniac.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. We're bringing you a live preview of the Indianapolis Colts versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Had to make sure I remember that one. That's still difficult to remember. But guys, also joining me today is Mr. Spotlight Raiders Talk himself, Darian. Darian, how you doing today, my guy?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing pretty awesome. Is finally able to get me on the show. You know, this is going to be a good game and a big game this week for both teams. I'm proud to be on here. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. I know that during the offseason, I was in a lot of your live streams, and we were saying, you know, when the Colts come to face the Raiders, I was like, man, I got to get you on the pod because I know we're definitely going to have a few of our moments because, you know, this is a big game, man, for both of our teams. I mean, playoff hopes are on the line for both of these teams right here, man. So real quick chat before I get into anything that's going on here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. If you haven't already, if you guys want to leave a donation or become a member today, the links are down below. Be sure to go do that. Be sure to check out Darian's channel, Spotlight Raiders Talk. I'll leave a link in there at some point here in the description as well. But you guys can find him anywhere. Great Raiders YouTube channel, guys. Everywhere that I go to find Raiders news, I look there. Look, man, this game, I told you, it's a big one, right? I mean, playoff hopes are on the line here for both of these teams. More so for the Raiders, I feel like, than the Colts, because Colts are obviously a game ahead. So, you know, things can still turn our way. But this game, you know, in 2018, the Colts faced the Raiders, and the Colts pulled that one out. You know, it was a close game, but the Colts pulled that one out. And then, you know, last year, I would say you guys probably got the better end of us there. I mean, the score was a little closer than what I think that game probably led on. I think you guys had that one in the books. But this one's feeling more like a rivalry to me now. You know, I feel like the Colts and the Raiders is starting to become a game that maybe like your average fan may not enjoy, but for like these fan bases, I feel like this game is starting to become something we could see more and more of throughout the years to come. What about you?
I think this is starting to become a rivalry. It seems like every year we're starting to play the Indianapolis Colts. So right now, y'all beat us in 2018? We beat y'all in 2019. Now it's 1-1 going into this series. Now we see who takes the lead in the series like the NBA. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a good game knowing that, you know, we have two good offenses. I wouldn't say too much about our defense, but two good offenses have a great defense over there in Indianapolis. And it's going to be a test. I think it'll be more of a test for the Raiders than it is for Indianapolis. I know y'all defense can definitely bail y'all out in situations. I don't really trust our defense on our end as a Raiders fan. So it's going to be a good game regardless. I think this is going to be I think we can score points, but, you know, I think both teams can score points. And it should be the game of the week, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. You know, two teams fighting for a playoff spot. Hopefully they might flex this game. I hope they do, because they do that a lot for games like this. But yeah, you were talking about your defense not being as good as ours. I did see an interesting stat that said you guys are second to last in the league at rushing touchdowns. So I don't know, man. I think they said 19 touchdowns is how many rushing touchdowns you guys have given up this year. I think. Who was it? Who's the only? I think the Lions are the only team that is worse than you guys at giving up rushing touchdowns. How much does that concern you for this game?
This defense concerns me every single week. It doesn't even matter. From week 1 to week 17, this defense always concerns me. Yes, it's been times where we did get stops when we were needed, but we let the Jets rush over 200 yards on us last week. Like, come on, it's the New York Jets. So And the Falcons really couldn't, like, it's like with our defensive line is week to week, knowing that we did add Vic Beasley to the roster. We added David Urban to the roster. We still got, Cleveland Farrell. Remember, we missed Cleveland Farrell the last 2 weeks with the COVID thing. And then now we able to have those guys back in a rotation. It seems like we have someone injured when someone comes back. It always happens like that. So I'm kind of nervous for the run game. If we could clean up, what we did in the last 2 weeks and clean that up and try to stop the run and get more offensive possessions for the Raiders, then I think we'll be fine. But yeah, I am concerned as a Raiders fan. Definitely.
Well, you mentioned the Jets. Let's talk about your last 2 weeks, man, because I feel like for you specifically as a Raiders fan, it had to have been a roller coaster of the last couple of weeks because, 3 weeks ago, you guys were right on the tails of the Kansas City Chiefs, and you guys gave them a game all the way up until the end. And then we know what happened with Atlanta, right? 43-6. I mean, what happened in that game, man? Because, you get blown out like that. I mean, something had to have gone wrong.
So if you look at majority of those points was in garbage time. It's just that our offense was not clicking. It's like every week with us, when our offense is clicking, our defense don't show up. When our defense show up, our offense isn't clicking. And that week, our offense was not clicking. We couldn't get no room for Josh Jacobs. We still down. Richie Incognito is done for the year for the offensive line with his Achilles. Trent Brown been often on the COVID list. That's a Pro Bowl offensive lineman there. So we've been switching out from Sam Young and Denzel Good and Brandon Parker and switching them out and see who fits best. So the offensive line have not been 100% damn near all year. Offensively, we just couldn't get nothing working. We was dropping balls. Carr was overthrowing some. We can't put it all on the defense. Carr did have some mishaps in that game. And it was time that defense did get, the Falcons offense off the field, but we just couldn't capitalize. So offense really, really messed up in that Atlanta game because the defense showed up. That 43 points and that whatever happened in that second half was mostly garbage time. But once they scored like 30-something points, I'm like, yeah, this game is over. Our offense couldn't do nothing to save their lives.
Yeah, so I was looking at that and I said, man, that's the opponent we got to face in a couple weeks. The Falcons are just a team that seems to do that to people. They're trash, and then all of a sudden, to a good team, they all of a sudden just blow somebody out. I don't know how they do it, but I mean, let's talk about the Jets, man, because even though that was a win, I want to hear your thoughts about that last play, man, because a lot of people were saying Greg Williams called that just so that way the Jets would lose, but at the end of the day, if that were true, then why would they have fired the man the day after the game? So,
right.
What was your takeaway from that and the fact that you guys barely won out on that one?
What's funny is that game shouldn't even have been close in the first place.
Yeah.
We gave up we was up 11 points in the fourth. If we let them come back and drove right down the field on us, but we did stall a lot in the third quarter. We did have a lot of 3-and-outs in that third quarter, but on that last play, if I'm Greg Williams, why are you sending an all-time blitz? You send all your linebackers, you send everybody in the world but your corners.
It's engage 8. It's engage 8 on Madden.
And you leave the fastest person damn near the fastest person in the NFL with a 4.24 speed against a rookie corner. I just don't understand the play call from Greg Williams. So listen, I take the win, but I feel like knowing that we was up to a point where our defense should have stepped up when it was needed. 200 rushing yards on the ground against a team that's ranked 32nd in offense is unacceptable, in my opinion. A win is a win, but I didn't like the win. The fact that we're 7-5, it was stressful. Even when I live streamed the game, I gave up. I didn't even know Henry Ruggs was going to get that catch because he was making me mad the whole game. He had a catch, went through his hands, interception. He fumbled the ball. So I was like, don't give the ball to Henry Ruggs no more. Don't give it to him no more.
Yeah, don't throw it to Henry. Don't throw it to Henry Ruggs. We don't have any corner that's fast enough to guard that guy.
Right.
But,
And he was just messing up the whole game to a point where I was like, don't give him the ball no more. And then I even changed my shirt. I took my Josh Jacobs jersey off. I said, this game is over. I thought that we was going to lose to the 0-11 Jets. I was like, no way. And then that happens. And yeah.
Yeah, I know how you feel there. Shout out to members, FaZe Waterhose, Matthew Stansberry, Chris Maker, and other guys in the chat. Thank you to the 45 of you in here right now. Thank you. Hope they all keep coming in. Look, man, I feel like I can say this now after seeing some of the Raiders season and how the record's gone. It just feels like every week we see a different Raiders team. Mm-hmm. You know, some weeks John Gruden has this team really ready to go. You know, the game plan is working. They're dissecting everything. And everyone knows Gruden's offense, one of the most complicated offenses to run anywhere. And, you know, they mix it up a lot. And then, like we saw the last couple weeks, they just look like they have no idea how to play football. So, like, what is it? What is it with you guys that makes you go from almost all the way up here to just being down here in a difference of a week?
Conservative play calling. That is the number one thing I can say. Conservative play calling. It's just to a point where, like, on a 2nd and 1, you want to run a slant to Henry Ruggs on a 2nd and 1, where if we running the ball effectively and getting 3 or 4 yards a carry, why you not run it on 2nd and 1? But you want to throw a slant to a Henry Ruggs and end up getting picked off. That's because that, I mean, people won't consider that conservative, but I don't consider it logic, in my opinion. If we have a good running game and we're establishing the run, if we're getting yards on the run, why not run the ball? And then a lot of people starting to flip the script on us because they seen earlier in the year that we was beating teams with time of possession, keeping that other offense off the field. Now you see the Kansas City Chiefs, they flipped it on us. The Atlanta Falcons, they flipped it on us. The Jets, even though we beat the Jets, but they had more time of possession than we did. So we got to get back to running the football. Hopefully Jacobs can come back. He was limited today in practice, but hopefully we can get him back today. Try to establish a run so Carr won't have to get, get pressure all the time. So with that being said, I just feel like we could be very explosive on both things, but I think John Gruden has some conservative play calling that I really don't like. That's the reason why we're so up and down.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people say that. Some weeks he's aggressive, and then some weeks he just dials it back for some odd reason. So I guess that'll be something to take account for. But got some love for you in the comments here, Darian. Got Matthew saying, good guest for tonight. Chris saying it as well. So thanks, guys, so much. Welcome, Darian, to the podcast here, guys. Been trying to get him on for a while now. So
thank you. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you.
So let's talk about your injury report, man. I know it's the middle of the week still, and some things are still going to come up, and we still don't know. But NFL Update just came out like 20 minutes before the podcast started and said Josh Jacobs is expected to play. I don't know, man. What's your injury report looking like? Is it a cause for concern, or are most guys coming back? What do you think?
From what I heard earlier in the week, I did make a video. I heard that Jacobs and Jonathan Abram was not expected to play, but as far as the week went on, they kept saying, "Oh, he was at practice today. He was limited. So if he's expected to play, I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't think Josh Jacobs would have sit out back-to-back games. This is a crucial game where, yes, he set out against the Jets, right?
Right.
Cool. It's the Jets. I'm not mad at that. But for this type of game, sometimes you just have to fight through the injuries. If it ain't broken, if it ain't torn, play. That's just where I am with it. I used to be a football coach. If it ain't broken, if it ain't something that severely you have to get surgery, or something where it's just a little tweak, you have to play. You have to play. And I don't know what's going on with Jonathan Abram. He did have a knee injury, but I just, John Gruden don't tell us nothing, man. When he does his press conferences, he doesn't tell nothing. So our injury report is always up and down. It's some people on, some people off. until you'll see in game time. But Damon Arnett, he's not going to come back this week, and that was our first round pick. Back-to-back weeks, he got a concussion. I don't know why he was out there in the first place, because y'all should have tore him form tackling. He's still leaning in with his head, and he got hurt on the second play of the game. That really hurt us. So we end up bringing in Daryl Worley back. He was a veteran for us last year, bringing him back. And hopefully we could get Jonathan Abram back, because, we have Jeff Heath and Miss Unreliable Eric Harris, but he does have good games against Phillip Rivers, but he's still Mr. Unreliable. So it's just up and down with us when it comes to our injury report.
Yeah, I know this injury report for Indy is actually looking really good. We're getting Bobby Okereke, one of our better linebackers, and Corey Willis. Most likely both of these guys are coming back this week. They started practicing today in some capacity. And the big one that everyone's talking about right now is our left tackle, Anthony Costanzo. Now, Frank Reich said that when Costanzo basically tore his MCL, that he would give Costanzo the free reign to decide whether or not he wants to play or not. He was a limited participant today, so he actually did practice in some capacity today, which is a good sign for the Colts. Even if he doesn't play this week, that he's gonna, be able to play next week against Houston, our divisional matchup. But if he can play this week, that would be huge, because, the left tackle, we don't have a lot of great offensive line depth. We'd have the Colts fan base. You can ask anyone. They really don't have confidence in anyone to come in and step up for our offensive line, because there's such a huge difference between the talent gap on the starters and our depth, which is kind of funny. So I hope Costanzo comes back, but everybody else, is coming back. And, we got DeForest Buckner and Danico Autry back this last week from the COVID list. So that's a great thing for them. But and one question I did have for you is there anyone on Indianapolis that you fear more than anyone else as a fan and as a person who's watching the game and thinks that player could shift the tide against your team? Is there anyone that does that to you?
On the defensive side, for y'all is I don't know if DeForest Buckner is going to play, but I think DeForest Buckner is going to be is somebody that I do fear. I think this defense is stout. Knowing y'all have Xavier Rhodes, y'all have Darius Leonard in the middle. Y'all have a good defensive stout that really is going to be challenging for our offensive line. Knowing that we don't have our two Pro Bowlers in Richie Incognito and Trent Brown. Trent Brown's surprisingly, he's not on the injury reserve list. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I see him on here. No, I don't see him on here. So with that being said, hopefully he's good to go. I mean, Denzel Good was on the injury report, but it was an injury not related, but he did not participate. So week one is we going to see Denzel Good in this game. But I think on the defensive side, I like DeForest Buckner, I like Darius Leonard, I like Xavier Jones. I think your corners are very physical, and I think that's going to give a little bit of issues for our wide receivers. But I just want to see how your corners are physical with Darren Waller. I want to see that matchup with Waller, or your linebackers against Waller. So that's going to be a matchup I like to see. Offensively, I do. I'm gonna let you know this right now. I was never a big fan of Phillip Rivers, and I never will be. Okay. He was in our division for how many years now? Yeah. And I call him Old Man Rivers. I call him that, and I'm gonna still call him Old Man Rivers.
Colts fans call him Old Man Rivers.
Yeah, Old Man Rivers. I'm not really too concerned with Rivers, but if he has a good protection, and our defensive line can't get to him, then it's going to be a long day. I'm not going to lie. Phillip Rivers he's still slinging at his age, but he's still Old Man Rivers, and we picked him off so many times. Playing. He knows us.
Yes, he does.
Playing against us all those years, but he never really had a good game against us in his career. Like, we always gave him fits when it comes to the last couple of years.
Yep.
But I think Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, Naeem Hines had a heck of a day last week. That really concerns my defensive line, knowing that we went out and got all these free agents and rookies in the draft. I'm nervous. We gave up 200 rushing yards to no-name running back for the Jets. I don't even know their names.
Frank Gore is the only one I know.
Just imagine what Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines might do. So hopefully Paul Guttner, which I want him to get fired as soon as possible, but I do want him to get fired as soon. I've been wanting him fired since the Kansas City Chiefs game when we lost. I've been even before that because we have not done nothing great defensively besides the Cleveland Browns game when we shut down Kareem Hunt. Other than that, what is there to prove? What have you done for me lately, Paul Guttner? So, yeah, it's a few weapons on the Colts that I'm really concerned with going into this week.
Yeah, and if Bobby Okereke comes back, that's a great thing for the Colts defense with Darryl Waller, because Waller, we all know, one of the better tight ends out there that he moves like a wide receiver, but plays the tight end position, and Okereke's one of the best ones at defending the tight end. So having him back would be great. Mm-hmm. What would you say is your guys' biggest strength? What do you guys do that other teams really don't do as well to win games?
Yeah, I forgot about Renfro. Renfro is one of those guys too. But I think what we do is that a lot of people think that the Raiders don't have an identity, and we really don't. And I think that really confused defenses because one game we could go heavy on the run and run the clock, run the ball effectively, and the next week we'll air it out. So that's why I think a lot of people think that's a disadvantage for us because we have no identity. Because sometimes you can see that Carr could throw for 300 and something yards and run for a touchdown and throw 2 or 3 touchdowns. And then the next week he could have 210 yards with 1 touchdown, and Josh Jacobs can have like 1 or 2 touchdowns, and Devontae Booker can have at least 1 touchdown. So it's really like is a very diverse offense, and people say that it's complicated. So people don't know what you're getting from the Raiders every week. Are we going to run the ball? Are we going to air it out? Are we going to get Henry Ruggs involved? But everybody knows one thing about us. We're going to get Waller involved. If you take Waller out, there's a Nelson Aguilar, and then it's a Hunter Renfro, then it's a Zay Jones, and then it's Henry Ruggs. So you just never know with our offense. It's very our offense is very optimistic. That makes us different from the rest of the league.
Yeah, and that's what scares me the most about this is that if you get the Raiders team that is aggressive and does all these different play calls, that does scare me. No matter how good our defense is, I know that your offense is dynamic enough to be able to create a mismatch in almost any way that you want to. What would you say is the biggest weakness for you guys? What hurts you the most?
Defense, man. It's the defense. It's the defense. And like I said before, the conservative play call is some things I know that we're analysts and we break down our teams as much as possible. It's some things these coaches get paid millions to do. Some things you just need to go back to the basics. If some of these coaches try to do a little bit too much, and sometimes John Gruden likes to do too much on short yardage plays when it comes to him. Like I said before, you want to do a slant on a 2nd and 1 or a 3rd and 1 where we effectively run the football and you forget about the run. Or sometimes he could be very predictable on every first down. He runs the ball on every first down instead of going play action. I feel like our weakness right now is conservative play calling in our defense. But at the same time, if you want to establish the run, then establish the run. If we are effective with it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I say that in every stream. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If we're averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry, why stop running the ball until they actually bring people in the box? And that's when you air it out. But it's get to a point in the last 2 weeks, as you saw, Derek Carr really wasn't calling audibles like that. For some reason, Gruden stopped him from calling audibles. If you see in the Chiefs game, if you see all the games that we won, he always made adjustments at the line. The last 2 games, he really haven't. So it really is like tit for tat with John Gruden and Derek Carr. Like John Gruden sees something from the sideline, but Carr sees something totally different on the field. So that kind of clashes and makes that a weakness too. So it's a lot of things that could come into it, but I say majority is the defense.
So, yeah, and we were talking earlier about, Josh Jacobs, whether he is going to play or not. Let's say he does play, obviously won't be at 100%. Do you still think Josh Jacobs can do damage on this Colts defense, even though he's going to be a little hobbled? I mean, this Colts defense throughout the year has been basically the second best rush defense in the entire NFL. I mean, the only person that's really given them just straight trouble has been Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. And we know the kind of monster that Derrick Henry is. And he had that one big game a couple weeks ago while we were missing 3 defensive linemen, and one of them happened to be DeForest Buckner. So, I mean, what would you say? Josh Jacobs prone to potentially have a big day, or would he have to do more outside of the run game to help?
I feel like he's not. I mean, he's going to try to do something, but I feel like it's going to be running back by committee in this game. So even though that we do have Josh Jacobs, you're going to split some carries with Devontae Booker. You're going to split some carries with Rashard. And you might split some carries with Theo Riddick, because we have Theo Riddick on our roster as well. So I think it's going to be a running back by committee type of thing, because I know that Josh Jacobs had that ankle injury. He's not going to get majority. He might get majority of the snaps, but I think it's going to be spread out. And that's going to be to a point where, even though that if we're not effective in the rush game, that's where we got Theo Riddick and Rashard to help in the passing game. If we can't get to a receiver, we have to start throwing the ball to our running backs, which we haven't done a lot this year. And Josh Jacobs said in the beginning of the year that he did want to be a part of his passing game, but they never call his numbers. So that's why I say the conservative play calling comes into play, because if the guy want to be a part of the passing game, you got to put in some type of package if he wants to be a part of it. If you're a coach, you just can't leave that man out there. Every running back in this league have to catch the football. We're just in that era. We're just in that era right now.
Yep.
And Josh Jacobs wants to be a part of that to get all-purpose yards. So why not put him in there? So yeah, it's going to be running back by committee on Sunday.
Yeah, and you're right. It is the kind of way that the NFL is now. Running backs have to catch the football. If you want to be a starter in this league, or if you want to be in an effective role, you do have to do that. And, that's why Jonathan Taylor, who, didn't catch many balls in Wisconsin, he was more of that run, but didn't have a lot of catches. He's been a lot more involved this year in the passing game for Indianapolis and has done really, really well. Payne saying running back by committee doesn't work very well against the Colts. Look at the Lions game. Yeah, well,
look at the Lions running back.
Look at the Lions. Yeah, the Lions offensive line be trashed.
The Lions offensive line is hot garbage. We're not going to compare the two.
They're hot garbage, bro. They had their best runner had was Adrian Peterson, and I think he had 22 yards.
And DeAndre Swift, and even though that DeAndre Swift is a Philadelphia native, because I live in Philadelphia, but still, he only had one good game.
I called Gruden earlier and told him to take it easy. This is a good one, Colts talk. I like that one, dude. So let me take you back on memory lane here for 1 second, man. So I think the year is 2016. Derek Carr is having an MVP season. At least most people thought he was, before the sadness of I think it was Trent Cole who rolled his ankle and ruined his season and your guys' season for the most part at that point. Are you still, do you still hold resentment towards the Colts in any way?
Yes, or I do. I do to this day, because that would have been a Super Bowl for us.
Man.
We was 12-4, but we was 12-4. And my God, the team that we had that year, it was Super Bowl bound. That was one of Carr's best years. But then you got to think about it too. Right after that, I don't know why Jack Del Rio decides to fire Bill Musgrave, because Bill Musgrave was the best offensive coordinator that Derek Carr ever had in his career, if you just look at the numbers in 2016. Until Trent Cole, but I can't blame Trent Cole. You know how I'm going to blame? Donald Penn. Because Donald Penn blew the block and had Trent Cole wide open to a point where he was able to get to the quarterback. Donald Penn was just not fast enough to kick back and get past Trent Cole. So yes, even though that this is not in Indianapolis where it happened at, I'm happy with that because Allegiant Stadium. I wish Allegiant Stadium could have had fans, but it's a beautiful stadium. But yeah, I still feel some resentment on that, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way, man. I really do because I try to forget that because I didn't want that to happen for for you guys because you're right. I mean, that team was really good and playoff bound and potentially Super Bowl bound. I mean, Derek Carr was looking like the best version of himself, no question about it. Indiana Sports Talk, hi, LaRaven Clark and Ryan Kelly, saying you look like LaRaven Clark, one of our backup offensive linemen. I'm Ryan Kelly. Thanks, Indiana Sports Talk. Appreciate you being in here again, man. But thanks to the 65 of you in here. Appreciate it. More people keep coming in. Even Cody's like Trent Cole, never a fan.
Man, he was a former Philadelphia Eagle, so I don't like the Eagles either, so I didn't like him at all.
Yeah, well, let's see here. So yeah, let's talk about offensive linemen since Indiana Sports Talk is saying we look like some of their offensive linemen. What do you think is going to happen with the defensive line and our offensive line? Because let's just look on both ends here because the Colts are notoriously known for having a really good offensive line. This year, it's not been up to standard. It's been good. It's not been up to standard though. And, with the defensive line, everybody knows the Colts defensive line. They're one of the best. They're one of the best defensive lines at getting pressure on the quarterback. They're obviously one of the best at stopping the run. The sack numbers aren't always there for our defensive line, but pressures, we actually have the second most pressures on quarterbacks, only behind the Rams. And they obviously have Aaron Donald and the Colts offensive line, second fewest sacks allowed in the league for Phillip Rivers. So what do you think? How does your men in the trenches stack up against ours?
Well, Max Crosby did have a great game against Phillip Rivers, but that was with the Chargers. It wasn't with the Colts. So it's a totally different offensive line. It's a totally different offensive line. Our defensive line it's a lot is going on with our defensive line, knowing that Maurice Hurst has been limited. Arden Key, we have so many people that can rotate in and out on the defensive line. It's just how are they being played? Are we stunting? Are we doing something to confuse the offensive line? I just feel like we need to be more physical up front. It is going to really start in the trenches if we're going to win this game. Now, Cleveland Farrell did have 2 sacks and 2 strip fumbles last week against the Jets. So Cleveland Farrell is coming into himself, knowing that he was a 4th overall pick. He finally is coming into himself, and Max Crosby is still going to be Max Crosby. I know they're going to try to eliminate Max Crosby. I know he had 10 sacks last year, and he's getting a little bit more this year. So I think that our defensive line is going to have to be more physical and try to get to Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers is not going to be mobile. Mind you, Phillip Rivers is injured with a foot injury. So we have to take advantage of that because he's not going to be as mobile. I'll say if we could bring an extra person that can't be blocked, like at least bring one blitz, some blitz.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. You said Phillip Rivers and mobile in the same sentence.
Yeah,
that is not a thing. That is not a thing, bro. That has never been a thing. Phillip Rivers. I don't know if Phillip Rivers will ever see this podcast, but if he does, I really hope he doesn't take to offense that we say this about him because everybody else does. The man can't run. Okay. Right. I think he knows that. He's never been a mobile quarterback. And at least as of now, being 39 years old, he certainly ain't leaving the pocket. But you're right. If you dial up the blitzes, that would certainly help.
Yeah, absolutely. So how I feel about it is that if we could get to him, at least bring 1 or 2 extra people that could probably be unblocked, then we could be successful. It has to really be a speedster that's coming off the edge or someone coming like some type of stunt with a linebacker in a defensive line. We got to be very creative on defense if we want to win this game. It's definitely get to Phillip Rivers. But I see that if we want to get to him, we have to get to him quick because I noticed with his foot injury, they're going to want to get the ball out quicker than expected. They're not going to let him just sit back there and just wait for like 8 or 9 routes just to be throwing bombs and stuff. They're going to try to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Yeah, and it's been weird, Rivers' injury problem, because in that last game, threw for 75% completion percentage against the Texans. Now, granted, the Texans defense as a whole is not very good. But I mean, he didn't have a clean pocket most of the game. And, he still was very accurate even with that foot. And then as he was leaving the field, he had a walking boot on and was being carted off the field. So it's like, I don't know. I really don't know how severe this thing is. It looks like it's more severe than what he's letting on. I think he's, just playing it off as, whatever, because he'll play on it as long as he can stand on it. So yeah, it'll be interesting, but shout out to the 75 of you in here. Thank you guys so much. Chris Maker showing you some more love. Definitely appreciate a non-arrogant and real Raiders fan. Hey,
listen, I'm not like I could be arrogant at sometimes, but when it comes down to it, sometimes Raiders fans have to humble their team, and sometimes they just don't. And when I say Derek Carr's good, he's good, but when he's bad, he's bad. So I'm just one of those people that I am very 50-50 with my team. I'm not going to sit here and be biased about my team. If I feel like my team's going to lose, then my team will lose.
Yeah. I think Cody and I try to be the same way. We try to give an objective opinion because nobody likes the fan that says everything's all jolly and everything's great when it's not. And how are Raiders fans? How, from your base on how you interact with Raiders fans, are they most of them ignorant, most of them nice and cool, most like you? What is it?
We have the most rowdiest fans in football, even through live chat. They are rowdy. They get to a point where they always want to say, get rid of Carr, get rid of Carr, get rid of Carr. But I say to the Raiders fans, do Carr play defense? Do Carr play special teams? Do Carr kick field goals? No, he does not. So you can't blame Derek Carr on the reason why we're losing games. Yes, he has some bad games. Don't get me wrong, and I did get on him about bad games, especially in that Atlanta game. I ripped him a new one when we lost to Atlanta. I get on the Raiders. I get on them, but sometimes they be like, "Oh, we keep Paul Gunther, but we fire." Some Raiders fans are just unrealistic.
I think there's only one quarterback in the NFL right now that doesn't really have bad games, because even his bad games are average games for quarterbacks, and that's Patrick Mahomes. I think that's the only one that really doesn't have a bad game ever, but that's just me though. Let's see here. MVP. Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers? While we're on the topic, go ahead.
I don't want Patrick Mahomes. He's in my division. I don't want him to win MVP.
I'll say Aaron. I'm saying Aaron because look, Patrick Mahomes again has been great. I'm not denying it, but from what I'm seeing from the Chiefs this year, it feels like the Chiefs this year have had to do less to win, especially on offense. I feel like their defense has really stepped up and their special teams is helping them win games now too. So it's like, why would I give credit to Patrick Mahomes for all of that when Aaron Rodgers has been just as big of a reason? Because Green Bay's defense has been terrible all year long, and their special teams had some issues every now and again too. Aaron Rodgers has been the stud and has been the most effective quarterback in the NFL this year, so I got to give it to Rodgers.
I have to agree, and if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs schedule, their schedule was pretty easy this year.
Yeah.
Their schedule was pretty easy. They didn't really have a tough schedule like Indianapolis Colts or the Raiders. If you look at the first 6 games for the Raiders, we had the Patriots, we had the Bills, we had Kansas City Chiefs, we had the New Orleans Saints. Like we had a lot of good teams in the first 6 games. That with the Kansas City Chiefs, they really didn't play nobody but us. We was the best team that they played in the first 6 weeks. If you look at their schedule, so I have to go with Aaron Rodgers, knowing that Aaron Rodgers went into a tough Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they got blown out there, but they still bounced back against good teams in the NFC. So I have to go with Rodgers here because Rodgers is doing more.
Yeah, I totally agree. Cody with the Rivers. What happens first? Rivers will run for a first down or we will get to 5K. Well, Cody, I'm certainly hoping that we get to 5K first before that happens, but
I'm hoping to get the 4K before that.
hey, I mean, you know, what you at right now? Aren't you at like 3,500 right now?
Yeah, I'm at 3,500 right now.
3,500. So, you know, it's not too bad, but Derek respecting Mahomes, BRB, I'm going to go sub. Oh my gosh, Cody. All right. Okay, so Darian, let me ask you, man, because I said at the very beginning, you know, this feels like a playoff atmosphere game, right? A lot of Colts players have been getting asked that from a lot of national media saying, how are you guys viewing this week? You know, what's going on? And so if you guys lose, let's just look at it from a hypothetical perspective here. Say you guys lose. What do you believe is your chance to still make the playoffs? Is the season done from there, or do you feel that there's still a sliver of hope to get in there?
I'm still waiting for the Dolphins to be an accident waiting to happen. I'm just waiting for it because I feel like the Dolphins have that other spot. So if we lose to y'all and then we win the rest out and we beat the Dolphins and they lose out, then we're in.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So that's the only scenario that we can have because I know that we end up beating Cleveland, but Cleveland still has less losses than us. So if we lose another game, it's really slim. But I'm just waiting for the Dolphins to go on a slump. I'm just waiting for it. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if we could beat the Dolphins and we lose to y'all and we win out and the Dolphins lose out, then we could probably get in. But you got to think about it. The Baltimore Ravens is right behind us because they just won 2 on Tuesday night. So we got to watch out for them. And then the Patriots play tonight and they play against the Rams. So it's a lot of people in the AFC is trying to get that final spot.
Yeah. And the freaking Patriots, I mean, won 4 of their last 5, man. I mean, they just absolutely destroyed the Chargers. They destroyed the Chargers worse than what the Falcons did to you guys. But I mean,
the thing about it is, I think that the Patriots are 2-2 in our division, if I'm not mistaken, knowing that they beat us, they lost to Denver, they beat the Chargers, and they lost. So yeah, they're like 2-2.
Yes, yeah,
2-2 in the division. So I'm not surprised them blowing out the Chargers. I'm not surprised about that.
So what team has really impressed you this year? I mean, we know the AFC as a conference has a lot of different teams this year that are really fighting for that spot. You mentioned a couple of them. I mean, you got teams like the Dolphins who, you know, out of nowhere all of a sudden are just beating teams everywhere. And, you know, you got teams like the Cleveland Browns. If Pittsburgh wasn't 11-1, then Cleveland would be the number 1 seed, and Cleveland looks like they can beat anybody right now too. And, you know, you got teams like the Bills have taken the next step, and, you know, the Arizona Cardinals, although they've fallen off a little bit, look like they're getting better. I mean, is there a team that really stands out to you this year that's been like, wow, I can't believe they're at where they're at right now?
Cleveland. I'm sorry to say, Cleveland and Miami is the 2 teams that really surprised me this year. I thought it was going to take another leap for Miami, knowing where Brian Flores there at the head, because I thought they would take a step, knowing they drafted Tua and they beefed that defense up. I thought it was going to take another year, but they want to win now. I think the Dolphins are tired of losing and the Browns are tired of losing. And that's why they have their winning records. Both got brand new coaches. They both have an identity on offense and an identity on defense. They're very balanced, but surprisingly, I'm happy that we were able to beat the Browns. We gave one of them 3 losses is to the Raiders. So yes, we got them on a bad day because I did not want to play them like what they just did to Tennessee last week. So, yeah, I think right now on the AFC, I just said it, Dolphins and
Cleveland.
Cleveland. On the NFC side, it's not really too many surprises for me. I think Arizona is probably the only surprise in my opinion. But if I have to say who's impressing me so far is the New York Giants. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now, and they lead the NFC. Everybody call them the NFC East. I call them the NFC least because your team is number 1 in the division at 5-7. I don't understand it, but hey, the Washington football team and the Giants are 5-7 right now.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I can't even be mad at Washington because, Washington and the Giants, they were expected to be bad. I mean, they were expected to everyone be like, oh, they're probably not going to be much. They had Dwayne Haskins. Now they're going off of Alex Smith and all this and that. But they did just knock off the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they certainly had a few things go their way. But I mean, Mike Tomlin said it best. When you get stopped 3 or 4 times at the 1 yard line in a game, you're not going to win games that way, especially against a team that's playing good. So with that being said, real quick, I know we're kind of getting off of this matchup a little bit, but after what you just saw from Pittsburgh, how confident are you if the Raiders were to play them this week with a healthy roster, with a majority healthy roster? How confident are you that you guys would go in and beat them?
I don't know because like I really want to see the matchup with Trayvon Mullen versus Chase Claypool. I really want to see that matchup because Chase Claypool is one of the top wide receivers as far as rookies this year. A lot of people underrated him coming out of the draft from Notre Dame. So I definitely I want to see that matchup. I really want to see how we match up against their offense, though. I think, honestly, the way Alex Smith carved that defense up with a tight end, just imagine what Darren Waller would do. Logan Thomas, I didn't know who Logan Thomas was. So just imagine what Waller would do against that defense. So,
yeah.
And Pittsburgh is losing defensive players left and right now going into the playoffs, with I think his name is Spillane or something that hurt himself in the game. And then Devin Bush is out. And then they had another person that's towards ACL that's done for a year, another linebacker. So I'll be confident playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just nervous about our offense against our defense due to the fact that Ben Roethlisberger still can move in the pocket and still make plays. But I think we could probably pull an upset. I really think so. I think we can if we keep the ball out of the offense hands.
Gotcha. Got a couple of late Raiders fans in here that are coming in.
Come on, Raider Nation. Come on.
Oh, good Lord. And here's troubleshoots again. I don't know if you know this guy or not.
Hey, if y'all not subscribed to me, I'll put the link back in the chat. I'll do that for y'all for the Raider Nation that's not a part of the Spotlight Raiders Talk Nation. I got y'all.
There you go. All right, man. Looks like, we're getting close to the hour mark here. Mm-hmm. Hold on a second. So Indiana Sports Talk saying Pittman or Ruggs. Well, I don't know. I'll let the Raiders fan answer that because you've seen what Pittman's been doing recently over the last couple weeks when he's been healthy, and he's only getting better and better. I don't know how Ruggs has looked this year. I mean, obviously he's got more touchdowns than Pittman does, but Pittman was injured after week, 3 or 4? And had to miss a couple weeks due to that. So,
I mean, I really haven't seen a lot of Michael Pittman because they don't really show Colts games in my area.
So I really show a lot of Colts games anywhere.
Yeah, they really don't like. Listen, I have to watch online to get the Raiders game, so only get the Raiders games on prime time that's the only time I get it. But that's hard, man. Pittman or Ruggs, knowing both of them started out the year slow with injuries. That was really tough. I feel like Ruggs can be. I'll have to pick Ruggs because of the speed. I think he has. I mean, I like Michael Pittman. I feel like if he has a better quarterback, because I think if he has a more younger quarterback and that could, a quarterback that can extend plays, that will help out Michael Pittman. And that's what I feel like. That's why I feel like the difference between Pittman and Ruggs, that Card can extend plays with his legs. And I think Rivers can't do that yet. Well, he can't do that at all. We all know that. We already said about him being mobile at that time. But I feel like, when it comes to a mobile quarterback, I think Pittman might have the better edge. But right now, Ruggs does have it because he has some type of a mobile quarterback in Derek Carr.
Oh man, what do we got? We got a couple different. Okay. So if the Colts come into this game and destroy them, would you give Rivers an extension? I mean, I see, like, I don't think it goes off of one game. I don't think it goes off of one game. I mean, here's my issue right now, Darian, because early in the season, a lot of people were saying, Rivers is not. Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta deal with this. Did you guys delete that or what? Where is it at? I see it on the live stream, but I don't see it in the if anyone sees that in the chat, please remove that person. That ain't funny. I ain't trying to get people to come in here and start cursing at people. I ain't trying to do that. All right, we're all fans here, and everybody can be fun and everything, but let's not start cursing and start doing a whole bunch of
we don't tolerate
that.
We don't tolerate that over at the Spotlight Raiders Talk either. We don't.
Yeah, don't be doing that, guys. That ain't cool. I don't care what fan you are, and everybody needs to be freaking nice. But yeah, I mean, it's been hard to he's been making the argument of whether or not he should stay another year even harder, because over the last 6 weeks, he has gotten so much better that it's just kind of becoming like, man, what's going on with this guy? Like, how do we get, we're trying to think of maybe going forward with another quarterback in the future. We don't know whether that's Jacob Eason or whether that's a guy we draft or we go for another quarterback in free agency. I don't know, but he's making the argument really difficult. 95 of you in the chat right now. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for everyone tuning in. I think we've had a couple of late Raiders fans coming in here.
Yeah, because I did share it on my community post as well. So
yeah, a bunch of them just started coming in. All right, well, I mean, we might as well just end it with this, and I'll put you on the spot for all the Raiders fans, and let's see what he says, guys. I think I know where he's going to go with this, but what's your score prediction for this game, man?
I think this game is going to be a very competitive game. I don't see the Colts blowing us out. I do see that the Raiders understand what type of game this is going into it, and I feel like they're going to be fully prepared. But this is going to be a good game. I feel like it's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to end in a dramatic fashion, and I feel like if we get the ball last, then we'll win the game 27-24 Raiders.
All right. We got the Raiders. I agree with you. I think this is going to be a pretty tightly contested game. It seems that every Colts game nowadays is starting to get that way, so I don't expect anything different.
And I noticed that because y'all have the lead in the first half, and then the second half, it just falls apart.
It's actually the opposite. I mean, it's actually the opposite. In the first half, our defense doesn't show up, and then in the second half, that defense is the best defense you've ever seen. I mean, they make halftime adjustments so well on the defensive end in the second half, but the offense just seems to forget how to offense in the second half. So, it's weird, but I am going to go 28-24 Indianapolis. So it's going to be a close one. I think both teams will score pretty well, but I do think the Colts know what's at stake here. I think both teams know what's at stake here, but I think the Colts are going to come in a little more prepared, I hope. I really hope they do. Having a bunch of these guys back certainly helps. But Colts Nation and all the Raiders fans that have found their way over here, I want to thank you guys so much for being in here. We got over 100 people in this stream here today. It's really awesome. I don't know if I've had that many people in for a stream that wasn't a live, that wasn't a game day stream. But Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And Darian, I want to thank you so much, man, for being in here. It was awesome doing this with you, and I hope to get you on here more often over the offseason.
I mean, we do got a few more minutes left until we actually hit that hour mark, so anybody do want to ask questions, it don't have to be related. We could wait. We could do it for another 5 minutes if y'all have any questions.
Definitely. We got 100 people in here. Throw some
We have so many people in here, and make sure y'all subscribe to my channel. I did put the link in the chat as well.
Make sure y'all do that.
Spotlight Raiders Talk. I did put in the chat twice. I don't want to, make it.
I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I got it going right now. So everyone, I just put it in there. I had it from before. So was like, yeah, there we go. We got him right there.
So if all the Raiders fans, if y'all do want to come over and subscribe to the channel, I do have my latest news up there. I didn't put a video up yet, but I will have an injury report video up for y'all, and I will have my preview video up for this Colts game once I because I know I have the all 22 on NFL Game Pass. I'm going to break down Colts film and break down Raiders film, and then that's how I do my previews, which is awesome. I love NFL 22 on NFL League Pass. They have that where you can show the coach's view of the actual game, and you can put it on YouTube, but you just have to put it in a certain angle so you won't get flagged for it. But
okay, all right. I might have to tell Cody. I'll have to tell Cody about that because we had a couple of we had the NFL get like copyright our videos a couple times because
so you have to show it from like the coach's view instead of like the game view. So say if it's if the game is like how we look at it on TV, you can't have it that way. You got to have it like the defense is behind, like the defense is in front of you and you see the offense. It's a certain angle. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna send it to you on Twitter with the angles that you need to have for it. Because like Law Nation for the Cowboys, he do it all the time, and a lot of Raiders fans, a lot of Raiders YouTubers do it too, breaking down film about Vic Beasley and all that type of stuff. So yeah,
okay, I got you. We got Blackman versus Rogues. Blackman versus Rogues. Who wins?
What, Justin Blackman?
Yeah, Julian Blackman. He is Julian. He's about to possibly be defensive rookie of the year this year.
That's gonna be a matchup. That's gonna be a good rookie matchup to look at. That's tough. That's tough. So I really can't pick it. Whoever wins the battle on Sunday,
who's making the big play, it's definitely Blackman. I'm sorry. I don't
know, man.
I trust Blackman. Hold on, I think I see something here. Hey, Samuel with the $2 super chat. Thank you so very much. Bro, I hate you, Samuel. Please stop doing that. He says, what are the chances of Swag Kelly scoring the game winner? He's Chad Kelly is our quarterback that we cut in the off season, and people keep sending me that all the time. I hate you guys for that.
Are the Raiders quarterbacks good?
That's a good question. I didn't ask you that before, but
well, the Raiders corners, we're good. I think Trayvon Mullen is our number one corner. He has an interception. He had like 2 interceptions this year, but he's good in coverage and he's good in tackling. Damon Arnett, which is our first round pick, he won't be available to us, for a while due to concussion protocol. We got LaMarcus Joyner. We had Isaiah Johnson. I mean, it's pretty good to an extent until we have Paul Gutner not having our corners sit 10 yards back. If we can actually play some good man, then we'll be better than what we are. But I think they're good for right now, knowing that they're young. I don't think we really have a true veteran corner that's been there between more than 4 years. We're pretty okay, but I wouldn't say that we're great, but we're okay. Good luck to you guys. I'm a Raiders fan, but your Colts defense is scary. Rivers has been trash throughout his Charger year.
Well, if you define trash as being the 6th most passing yards and like 6th most touchdowns in a career, that must be trash. I don't know.
I mean, he's probably trash. He's been trash against us.
Yeah, I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying. I'm just messing with people.
Right.
But, Leonard versus Waller, who wins? Indiana Sports Talk, I'm upset at you that you actually misspelled his name. It's Leon. It's not Len. But yeah, so Leonard versus Waller, who wins? I will remind you, last season, Darius Leonard was on the top 10 of PFF's best coverage guys one-on-one in any matchup. He was the only linebacker in that group. The other 9 cornerbacks. Darius Leonard was the only one in the top 10 that was outside of being a corner.
Right. So that's going to be, I'm going to go with Waller on this one because Waller, he's just a mismatch, man. The guy is almost the size of LeBron James playing on the football field. He's just that, he's a top 5 tight end in this league. So It's going to be a test, but I'm going to have to take Waller on this one. I mean, he only been shut down for like 2 games out of the whole year. So
All right.
I'm really looking forward to the matchup. I think I'm not going to underestimate Leonard at all, because I think he's one of the best linebackers in this game, but I think Waller might have the edge over him.
Phillip Rivers kids versus the Raiders defense. See, now he's asking the real questions here. This is the real question.
Phillip Rivers kids, really?
He's got 9 of them. All
Yeah,
he can create
his own football league with his kids. I can believe that.
You got 9 of them if you just put his wife in there and him in there.
Yep,
they got a football team. That's it.
You got you a little giants. That's exactly what you got.
Oh man. Let's see. Is Buckner and our D line going to destroy the Raiders' offensive line?
It depends who he matchups with. It depends who he match up with. If he's going up against Colton Miller, he might. Colton Miller is a good right. No, he's a left tackle. I'm sorry. He's a good left tackle. But if he's going up against a Brandon Parker or a Sam Young, he's going to have a field day. I'm going to be honest. It depends on who he lines up against.
Gotcha. Last one here, and it's my boy Colts talk. How many rushing TDs will the Colts have versus the Raiders? I mentioned earlier, you guys have given up some of the most rushing touchdowns in the league this year. That scare you at all? How many you gonna give up?
That scares me.
Oh man. All right. I think that's gonna do it, guys. Thank you so much, Darian, again, for being on here, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure being on here. Finally able to be on here. If you want to do like a recap show, I'm willing to come on here during the recap show. I know I do a pre-show right after the game, so probably after my post-game show, then I'll come on yours what time you want to have yours. So absolutely, man. It's been fun being on here, man. It's been very fun.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, everyone in the chat that enjoyed. Hope you guys really enjoyed. And also another thing, guys, real quick before we leave, for the 90 people that are in here, be sure to go and enter our giveaway. We're giving away a Colts throwback hat for it's basically our Christmas gift to one lucky individual. So be sure to go do that. And you can do that on Instagram or on Twitter. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And as always, or actually I have to say one more thing, because Cody says this to all of our guests. Darian, I have to say this. Good luck to you, but just not too much luck. Okay, we know you don't want too much luck because luck beat you in 2018. Yeah, we know you don't want too much luck. Oh man, I had to throw that one at you.
Best of luck, man. Best of luck to both teams, and hopefully everybody come out healthy in this game. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's a good thing. That'll be a positive for it. But yeah, it's gonna be a great game. I can't wait to see it.
Same here, man. Thank you guys so much again, and as always, go Colts.